The blood of Louisiana and Texas flanks its essence so deeply that the Great Migration to Brooklyn brought all that bayou north with him, and with it, spiritual cries that anchor the creation of his music, giving way to a conferring of divine illumination. A people's musician, Matthew Hartnett embodies that larger-than-life bighorn sound that works its way inside you, stirs your emotions, releases its power, and calls upon you to uncontrollably dance. After touring with esteemed powerhouses such as Lauryn Hill, Talib Kweli, and Kirk Franklin, it's Matthew's time to step forward and give us his solo project. I'm your host, Kenyatta Beasley, and don't move, because Matthew's here tonight to share the versatility of his one-of-a-kind voice right here on B-Side. Welcome to B-Side, Matt Hartnett, man. Great, good to see you. Can you introduce this wonderful band that you've assembled?
Yes.
For us today?
So on bass today we have Jed Lingates.
Yeah.
Lingat. On keys we got Eddie Moore. On guitar we have Bobby Wesley. On drums we have Eric Brown.
Yeah. All right.
And on saxophone, we have Brent Burkhead, who's not currently right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all can make some noise for him.
Yeah.
We got Lee Hogan's on trumpet.
Yeah.
And Kenneth Bentley back there on the sousaphone.
Okay.
These guys gonna get back up here in a little bit.
Oh, great. So this is like a pretty big ensemble that you've brought together for B-Side today.
Yeah.
And it's kind of reminiscent of where we're from, man. But the Louisiana, Texas connection, man. So you're from originally Houston?
So my family's from Lake Charles.
Oh.
So yeah.
We have Lake Charles in the house.
Yeah. You know, gotta represent. And I was raised in Houston, Texas.
Okay, man. So you're what are your musical influences? Like what actually got you involved in music at an early age?
Man, what's funny is I had a friend in school, and at the time I was in 5th grade, and my best friend was a girl named Christine Wynn.
Okay.
And we were like, yeah, we're gonna get in band together. Cool. Woo, what you gonna play? I'm gonna play clarinet. I'm like, me too. So.
Well, I mean, that's not a clarinet.
This is definitely not a clarinet. I took one look at that clarinet class and realized all my homies was on the other side of the classroom, so I was like, can I play whatever they're playing?
Right.
I don't want to be over here. So I just played trombone. I didn't even know what was over there.
So you just gravitated toward the trombone, and here you are.
Yeah.
Man, so are you from a musical family, or
man.
Are you the only one?
No. What's crazy in my family is like all the boys, the male grandchildren have this music gene activated. Mm-hmm. Like no one else is like really a professional musician. My oldest cousin, he was playing in church though, like for the big church at like 9 years old, choir directing and everything. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do anything with music these days.
Right.
My little cousin, he picked up saxophone and was like a savant instantly, but he doesn't play music now, so like, you know, I'm kind of the only one that just did it.
So basically your background kind of is derived from the church in a sense?
Yeah, in a sense. I was like classically trained, so I was like a classical music major in college and all that stuff, and when I started working professionally, because I mean I live in the church capital of America.
Yes,
you know,
yes it is.
We gotta play in church. You know, so yeah, I definitely grew up musically. I say grew up musically, meaning like 19, 20 years old, in the club playing R&B and playing church on Sundays. So that's how that came.
So as from your upbringing, you went to Texas Southern University?
Texas Southern University,
and I'm assuming that you were a music major?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because sometimes musicians kind of like fall into it, you know, from different angles. Like, I really wanted to be this. And
it's no choice, man. And at least at TSU, it's such a great music like legacy that's there. Like the Crusaders are from there. Right. Like just so many great people. I can name so many people like Conrad Johnson, Barry Lee Hall. Yeah, man. Just mad. Billy Harper. Like so many people have come through there. The same practice rooms I was in. So I definitely did that. You know.
So what normally the migration, because we're both from the same area. For us, it's usually to go to California and somewhere that's kind of real comfortable and laid back, kind of like where we're from. But what initiated the decision from you to move to the gritty, dirty city of New York?
Okay, so let you in on some inside stuff. So when I was
you can share with my friends as well.
Sure, let y'all know too. So when I was at TSU, it was like 2006 or 2007. A lot of my friends worked for Music World. I played at the Music World Church, you know. And so rumor was Destiny Child was going to get back together and do a reunion concert or do a reunion tour. And they were like, hey, you know, Matt, my boy Luke Austin was at TSU. Luke Austin is a super famous producer who was going to school with us. And he was the MD for that. And he was like, yeah, man, you know, pull you in on that. And I told myself, if this flakes, I'm not going to stay in Houston. I'm going to leave and go to New York. So 2008 came around, you know, it almost but didn't happen. So I decided then, I was like, all right, well, I got to go get it. I can't sit around in Houston waiting. No one's going to come to Houston and say, oh, I'm looking for a horn player. they'll go to Houston looking for drummers and all these other cats, you know, that play with all these great gospel legends and stuff, but they won't come looking for horn players. So I came to where all the horn players were and where the market was, so that was New York.
And that eventually led you to the new school.
Yeah, that was my window.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I want to continue the journey, our musical journey, after you set up these next 2 songs that you're gonna play.
Okay.
So can you set us up with the next song?
Sure. So the next song is called Pump and Drive. It's actually a marching style that we had when I was at Texas Southern University. It's really high energy. And then the one immediately after that is called Summer 2011, and that is a song about meeting the love of my life and getting divorced and all that stuff afterwards. So that one's in there. So
once again, Matthew Hartnett. Hey.
Y'all, you can say it loud. Hey.
Hey.
All right. That's all you got to do during this song. Okay. Here we go. This is uncomfortable.
It's all right.
vulnerable side of Matt Hartnett. Before we start to talk about the New York part of your journey, so when you were at Texas Southern, were you part of the marching band experience?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So how did that shape you? Because I notice a lot of people from the South, man, they bring that whole experience with them. Like you can hear it when they play and performance. So how was your experience with that HBCU marching band?
I mean, you know, I marched in the Ocean of Soul. I did 2 SWAC years.
Of Soul?
The Ocean of Soul.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, man, it was great, man. Marching at TSU was like some of the highlights of my entire musical life. There's like nothing like having like 200, 300 people with you and you're all playing and like you can literally feel the music. You're not just playing it, but like you literally feel it in your body. But like, it's like, you know, people talk about different things like, you know, 2 or more being gathered or just having unity and like good vibes and all that kind of stuff. Well, imagine all of that synced in like 300 people though. Wow. Like it's super powerful. And it stayed with me. So after that, I'm just, you know.
Because the HBCU experience, I mean, from what I remember is, man, it's for the football games, it's usually more about the band of the football game. Right. Like the real show is at halftime.
Yeah. The football game is just an excuse for the bands to come and do their thing. Like I remember homecoming one year, we literally shut the football game down. Like the crowd was in the end zone during the football game in front of the bands. It was like us and Alabama State battling back and forth. It was epic.
So as we migrate north, you said that you moved to New York and you came to the new school. So I'm assuming that's two totally different experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the marching band to the big city and the role of the individualist as a soloist. You know, how was that different than, you know, you working in conjunction with 300 of your best friends?
Well, you know, because of the marching band experience, I think that geared me more toward wanting to be in horn sections. My first professional gig was in a horn section. And I loved it. I had quick ears, and the guys around me had quick ears, so we could just kind of do whatever in real time really fast. And, you know, I kind of just polished that skill, and when I came to New York, that's really just what I did. I never actually wanted to be a solo artist. My dream was just to always really like play behind Bilal or play behind like Miss Hill or play behind, you know, Sister Jill, or, you know, so that was always my dream. I wanted to just be in the background, playing the horn lines. You know, that's all I really wanted, you know. The solo thing really came, I guess, out of necessity. Like most great things that happen come out of necessity. I needed to elevate my horn section and get us into different places and get us into higher paying position, higher prestige, you know, jobs and stuff. And I was like, man, I have to break out and do something that's gonna get attention. Right. And when the attention's on me, then I can bring my guys and be like, hey, we do this too, you know.
Right. So you were talking about the horn section. When you start working with these big name artists that we'll talk about in a second, is there a name for this horn section? Because I remember it being like a conglomeration of different musicians.
Yeah. So the conglomeration of different musicians all over the world, we kind of like our franchise. It's Team Horn Section. Right. So that's the name of
hashtag Team Horn Section.
Yeah, please say the hashtag. So yeah, it's that's that, and it started by Ezra Brown, and so Ezra was going around doing his thing, and then he met me, and we became a tag team, and then we would just bring in different trumpet players or whatever we needed to make it happen, and that's how I started doing that stuff, man, and we just really made a name for ourselves around town, and I started working with other horn sections, and you know, that's pretty much how it worked.
So your first big horn section gig in New York after you've been at the new school for a second was with whom?
Oh man,
because you've worked with quite a few different people.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that one. All right, so
Lauryn Hill?
Talib Kweli was before Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
But I feel like there was, I guess maybe nobody was bigger name, I guess, than them. Yeah, Talib, I think, was the first big horn section gig I had.
So I mean, basically, you've basically worked with a wide array of artists from, like we said, Talib Kweli, Lauryn Hill. Got to work with Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
Belial.
Yeah.
Who I went to school with. Which, in your opinion, which artist was the best person to work with, or you had the most fun experience working with?
Oh man, the most fun, man. Honestly, it's a toss-up, really.
Mm-hmm.
The most fun gig that I have is a toss-up between the Belial gig and this gig with Blitz the Ambassador.
Okay.
Those are my two favorite gigs. Blitz and Ambassador is really a team horn section gig. I played a Belial gig with Igmar Thomas and his horn section, but it's just me and him. But I think it's just the vibe, man. Like Belial just has a great vibe. We have a lot of fun on the shows. And in Blitz the Ambassador show, we get to do like all of our moves, we're dancing, we kicking, we like in the crowd.
That's the HBCU,
you know, the HBCU vibe.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. So we get to really show like the team horn section thing. Like that's what we do. We dance and we sing and we play and that whole thing.
Oh, cool. No, we're going to get back to that because a lot of what you do is kind of like working with this vanguard of like modern artists. But till then, can you set up the next song for us?
All right. The next song, gonna bring the horn section back, and we're gonna do "Butterfly" by Herbie Hancock. And we just like playing the song, honestly. So
It's a great song.
you know, I think so too.
Is Lee Hogan's on trumpet?
Lee Hogan's on trumpet.
Brent Burkhead on alto saxophone?
Brent Burkhead on saxophone.
And Matthew Hartnett on
me.
trombone. So Matt, horn section, trombonist to the stars. You, I mean, that's what he is, man. He's worked at all the big name acts. I'm kind of jealous in a sense, man.
Get out, man.
But I want. We only have 2 more songs, but I want to make sure that we can actually talk about your debut release called Southern Comfort. I'm looking at the artwork, and it seems like this record embodies your journey from Houston and Lake Charles all the way up to New York City. Tell us about this record, man.
So essentially, that record is the embodiment of all things that make up me, and it's all there on the cover. The artist was able to capture just all the stuff: church, marching band, good food. You know, it's just that's pretty much is what makes me. I'm like a classic Southern boy, pretty much through and through.
So where can we purchase this? Is it directly from you, Bandcamp?
Well, you can get it directly from me, or you can go to iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, all places online. You can get those. You can get hard copies also from Amazon too, or just directly from me.
Yeah.
Whichever one.
So before we run out of time, I want to make sure that we hear as much music as possible. Can you set up the last 2 songs for us?
All right, the last 2 songs are my favorite part of the set. We just gonna go to Louisiana. We just gonna stay there. Okay. So I'm gonna do a little singing. Hopefully y'all can join along with me, and you know.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of Louisiana.
That's right.
Once again, Matthew Hartnett.
All right. Fire on the button.
All right, now, this is the part where I get to get loose, and you do too. All right, so I'm gonna sing a song that we used to sing on the playground, and it's got a bunch of broken little Creole words in there, some French in there. I don't still know to this day what the song is saying, but I don't think it's saying nothing wrong. So when I say "Hey nah," y'all say "Hey nah, hey nah." All right, let's do it. Here we go. I said to my flag boy and your flag boy was sitting on the bayou. I said to my flag boy, told your flag boy he gonna light that flag on fire. Talking about Aina, Aina, Aiko Ande, Giacomo Fino Anane. I said Giacomo Finane. They had that fire on the bayou. Ooh, yeah, come on, y'all. Can I hear you? I got another verse. Here we go. We said my grandma and your grandma were sitting on the bayou. I said to my grandma, told your grandma she gonna light that ass on fire. Talking about hey nah, Aiko Ande, Giacomo Fino Anane. I said Giacomo Finane, yeah, they have that fire on the fire. Yeah, we get that hand clap. That's good. There you go. Hey, I said we had that fire on the fire. Come on, horn. Bobby, talk to him, baby. Hunane. I said a Giacomo Finane. One more time, I said a Hunane. I said a Hunane. I said a Hunane. Yo, let's go to A. This last one is New Sunlight Lake Charles. And we have fun on this too. The words for this song for you guys is hey, 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 Pocky Way. I think you know it. I think you, hey, 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 Pocky Way. You better lead them in worship, sister, okay? Here we go. Now I said hey, 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 Pocky Way. Now you sing, come on. I said hey, 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 Pocky Way. So, like I said, I grew up in Bible Belt, USA, so it wouldn't be a good show if we ain't shout a little bit. So, Bobby, you're gonna help us with that. And you're gonna help us out too, you just don't know yet. Bobby, help us out, baby. This your part right here. that itch in your chair yet? Like you want to get up? I don't know. I don't know. I think we ready to go. Band, y'all ready to go to church? 2. I said a 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, hey!
Man, look, I had some boudin and some gumbo at the house, man. Maybe I'll serve some of that outside, man.
Man, bring me some.
Unfortunately, it's time to come down from our music high and re-enter the Brooklyn realm. Thank you, Matthew Hartnett, for taking us down south in style and comfort. You can keep up with Matthew on Instagram at Matthew Hartnett. I'm Kenyatta Beasley, and I really hope that you enjoyed this episode of B-Side. Be sure to check in or stop by our BRIC House studio every Thursday to hear more of the best music that Brooklyn has to offer. You can also check out this and past episodes anytime at youtube.com/BRIC TV. All right, Matthew, leave us with one more song right after this.
This is H-Town, Texas. Houston all day right here. Straight out the 44 acres home. Shout out to the Houston homies. Hey, I see you. So this song right here used to be #1 on the radio, no lie, for like 2 years. I'm not even lying. If you came to Houston, you heard this song on the radio. And I'm gonna teach it a little bit to y'all, but y'all's part, just bear with me, okay? Your part is beating down the block, knocking pictures off the wall. All right? I'm gonna depend on my Houston folk in the audience kind of help me out, all right? So this is a tribute to the school culture I grew up in. And it goes a little something like this. I said riding, blowing wind, sipping on a daily basis. We quick to hop right on your block in wreck faces, standing slab in open spaces, looking good, standing tall. I said we riding, blowing wind, sipping on a daily basis. We quick to hop right on your block in wreck faces, standing slab in open spaces, looking good and standing tall. I said we're riding, blowing wind, sipping on a daily basis. We quick to hop right on your block in wreck faces, standing slab in open spaces, looking good, standing tall.